Ladies and gentlemen, it is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on Tuesday, February 24th. I hope everybody's having a phenomenal start to their day. I hope your basketball team won last night. There were only a few teams playing yesterday, but I hope everybody is doing absolutely phenomenal. I would like to welcome everybody back, podcast listeners, live crew listeners. I appreciate everybody very, very much for tuning in. We got a pretty short episode today. We only had 3 basketball games yesterday. Only had 3. And one of them was definitely like one of the more entertaining games of the year until the second half. But we'll be talking briefly about the other 2 games as well. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. It truly means the world, whether you're live or after the fact watching. I appreciate it. Today's going to be a little bit shorter of an episode. Like I said, we only have a couple games to talk about. And obviously the main one is the headline that was on the cock last night. We got a very fun segment that we've never done before at the end of today's episode. It's called Would You Rather. Obviously, I didn't create it, but it's, I feel like it'll be very fun. And I got some great topics of discussion that I need your guys' help on deciding. So live crew, be sure to be active and just stick around and talk throughout today's show. And I would appreciate it very, very much. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Live crew, TikTok and the YouTube, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow, do all that shit. And Twitch chat, you guys got the easiest job in the whole entire world. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee and an energy drink, and enjoy the show. Guys, up first, we are going to talk about, obviously, the most entertaining game of last night. The San Antonio Spurs walk into Detroit and snatch their chain. The San Antonio Spurs won 114-103. And it was an 11-point loss for the Detroit Pistons. Now, you guys know I'm a Pistons fan, but there's something that I like doing on this show that a lot of people don't do, especially on like ESPN, SportsCenter, all the mainstream media. They like starting and talking about what's wrong with that? What's wrong with the Lakers? What's wrong with, the Celtics when they lose a game? We're not like that. We're not like that. We are going to do diligence here, and we are going to speak about the team that won last night, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. And don't worry, Pistons fans, we will be discussing you guys as well, but we will start with the San Antonio Spurs. Ladies and gents, watching this game, I just have to say, wow. I think I predicted exactly how this game would go yesterday. If you guys tuned into yesterday's show, I said if Wemby has a good shooting night, it's going to be a blowout. Wemby didn't have a good shooting night. I said Jalen Duren's going to dominate Wemby in the paint. Jalen Duren did do that. The issue is, I said if the San Antonio Spurs shoot well, this is going to be a long game for the Pistons, okay? And the San Antonio Spurs really didn't shoot all that great. It was 2 players that dominated the three-point line for the Spurs, and it was Devin Vassell, as that idiot on the Peacock commentary, not Austin Reeves, but the other guy, I'm not even going to learn his name, Devin Vassell. He was making fun of how the referee said Devin Vassell when he couldn't pronounce Jalen Duren's name the entire game. He kept saying Duren. Buddy, you can't make fun of the ref who's pronouncing Vassell, but you're pronouncing Jalen Duren as Jalen Duren. Anywho, Devin Vassell hit as many threes as the entire Detroit Pistons team. Now, I got to say that again because it's that insane. Devin Vassell hit the same amount of three-pointers as the entire Detroit Pistons team. Devin Vassell hit 7 threes last night. Julian Champagnie hit 5 threes last night. The San Antonio Spurs hit the most threes, tied the most threes against the Detroit Pistons all season long. That's right. I gotta emphasize this. This is the most threes the Pistons have given up this year, tied. And the San Antonio Spurs did their thing. I'm going to talk about what the Pistons did wrong later on, so don't you worry. But I gotta highlight what the Spurs did right, man. First and foremost, people were asking me yesterday. In fact, Spurs fans were asking me yesterday. I don't know why a Spurs fan was asking me this yesterday. Who's gonna guard Cade? Well, how about the guy that is arguably one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA? Stephon Castle. I got to talk about this guy right here. Stephon Castle, if you guys watched this game last night, he had Cade in hell. I'm admitting that as a super fan of Cade, as a super fan of the Pistons, Stephon Castle had Cade Cunningham in jail. And I'll admit, as I was watching the game, they were grabbing and pushing Cade. They were. But the Pistons were also grabbing and pushing Victor. So I can't really complain. Now, something I can complain about is why people aren't giving Stephon Castle credit where he deserves. In fact, I pulled up this very interesting tweet that I saw. These are the notable players with Stephon Castle as the primary defender this season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, when he guarded Shai, he shot 6 for 19 with 2 turnovers. Luka Doncic this year, he shot 8 for 21 and 3 turnovers. Cade Cunningham last night on Stephon Castle shot 2 for 10 with 2 turnovers and a block. J-Dub, he shot 3 for 10 with 3 turnovers on Stephon Castle. Şengün, 1 for 5 on Castle with 1 turnover. Cooper Flagg, 5 for 12 with Castle guarding him. Amen Thompson, 3 for 8 and a turnover while Castle was guarding him. Michael Porter Jr., 2 for 7 when Stephon Castle was guarding him. So this goes beyond Cade Cunningham. I'm sorry, Stephon Castle. I'd like to formally apologize. I was not familiar with your game. I looked up Brunson, what he was guarded by Stephon Castle. Brunson shot 6 for 11. So most efficient superstar on that list. Stephon Castle, wow, your defense is unbelievable. Your defense is great. Your defense is crazy. Watching him just hound Cade all night, screamed more insecurities that I have about the Detroit Pistons as a team than it did that Stephon Castle was a good defender. Because here's the thing. Stephon Castle was defending Cade well. The issue is, guys, and if you watch the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Cade can break down anybody that's in front of him. And he was breaking down Stephon Castle. I can't tell you how many times he beat Stephon Castle. The issue is, who are you running into when you beat Stephon Castle? Well, I said it before the game last night. The Victor Wembanyama, there was only one team in the NBA that he's never blocked. He's never had a blocked shot against one team in the NBA. You know who that team is? The Detroit Pistons. He, up until last night, never had a single block against the Detroit Pistons. They were the only team in the NBA he hasn't recorded a blocked shot. Well, maybe Wemby knew that because he ended up finishing last night's game with 6 blocks. So every time Cade would beat Stephon Castle, which was a lot, he'd run into Victor Wembanyama. I saw Cade throw more floaters up last night than I've ever seen Cade in an entire season throw up floaters. Cade doesn't utilize the float game. But last night, every time he drove into the paint, that 7'5" alien is standing there waiting to wreak havoc. So I'm giving credit where credit is due to Stephon Castle. He had an unbelievable defensive showcase last night against one of the best players in the NBA. But that sort of gets inflated because of who you have behind you. And that's fine. If I'm giving credit to both players on the San Antonio Spurs, that is fine. Like watching Wembanyama play, for example, my cousin has never watched Wemby play. He's never watched him play. Last night was the first time he's watched him, and he was blown away. My cousin is 10 years older than me. So he's, next month, he's turning 38 next year. Or sorry, next month. I'm turning 28 next month. And he's never watched Wembanyama play. Last night was his first time watching him, and he lost his mind. He could not believe what he was watching. Guys, Victor Wembanyama is that good. Like, he is that good. And I'm giving all the credit to Victor Wembanyama in the paint defensively. I'm giving all the credit to Stephon Castle with his amazing perimeter defense. Now, something I'd like to emphasize on the San Antonio Spurs is they're sort of like the Pistons. If they're hitting their shots from deep, you lose. You're not going to win the game. I think when the Pistons hit double-digit threes, I'm just saying 10 threes, you're not beating the Pistons. It's going to be extremely hard for you to beat the Pistons. You guys saw what happened against the New York Knicks in 3 games this year. The reason why I bring those games up is because the Pistons decided to hit, I think it was minimum like 13 threes in both of those 3 appearances against the Knicks. That cannot be said for most teams in the NBA because the Charlotte Hornets hit 18 threes against the Pistons, and yet the Pistons still ran away with that game. And the Pistons only had 5 threes that game. So if the Pistons only can hit 6 threes against the Charlotte Hornets, who hit 18, and yet the Pistons still win, it goes to show that when a team has an unbelievable defensive presence and they're hitting threes, you're not going to win the game. It's just like the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's just like them. If the Thunder are hitting threes, you lose because they're the number 1 defense in the NBA. If the Pistons are hitting threes, you lose because they're the number 2 defense in the NBA, number 1 since December 20th. If the Spurs are hitting threes, good luck. And your threes not falling, like I said, Devin Vassell, magnet ball. He hit as many threes as the Pistons did last night. The Pistons got outshot 18 threes to 7 threes. The Pistons shot 19% from deep. Now, something I will say, and Spurs fans, I don't mean this as any insult. Listen, I just gave you guys credit for over almost 10 minutes now. So please don't take offense to this, okay? But Victor Wembanyama surprised me last night. I'm not surprised by his defense. We all know Victor's defense is unbelievable. What I mean by he surprised me is I didn't know, and again, Spurs fans, do not get offended when I say this, because I've just given you guys credit for 10 minutes. I did not know Victor Wembanyama flops as much as he did. Again, I gave you guys credit for 10 minutes. Do not get offended by that take. I was unfamiliar that Victor Wembanyama flails his arms and flops as much as he did. Because in the first half, he was throwing himself all over the court, throwing his arms in the air, okay? But I got to cut myself off immediately there. I said what I said. In the second half, he did not do that. And that is one of the main reasons why the San Antonio Spurs ran away with the game. One of the many reasons. One of the many reasons. The first half, I felt that Victor and Keldon Johnson were flopping their bodies all around the court, and they were not playing their game. In the second half, they cleaned that up. Victor was not flopping. Keldon Johnson was not flopping. They played their game, and they won that game. That's one of the main reasons why I believe the San Antonio Spurs won that game. They played really, really well. Now, again, I do have to emphasize this a million times over. The Spurs are a good team. In fact, I would be a liar if I didn't say that I didn't have them as a serious contender 3 weeks ago. I said 3 weeks ago, I don't think that they have the experience, which they don't. They don't. But in these last 3 weeks, every day, if you guys have watched me and you guys have listened to me, if you guys have listened to me on Spotify, if you guys have listened to me on Apple Podcasts, if you guys have listened to me on TikTok, Twitch, or YouTube, you guys have heard me repeat this over and over and over again. I don't think experience means a whole lot for the San Antonio Spurs squad. This team is good. And when they have guys that are hitting threes like this, you're not beating them. I don't care who you are. You are not beating this team if they're hitting threes. Now, again, I'm not going to overreact from this game, okay? I'm not going to overreact. It's one game out of 82, okay? Teams have bad shooting nights. Teams have good shooting nights. But what I will say is the San Antonio Spurs are for real. They are for real. I don't see, it's very like, oh my God, I hate that I'm doing this. I hate that I'm doing this because I always complain about this. So nobody, please, I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from. This team is here. The San Antonio Spurs are here. They are good. I have to give all credit where credit is due. This team is good at basketball. I've watched a lot of Spurs games this year. I've watched a lot. I watched a lot of Spurs games last year. And even without Fox and Wemby last year at the end of the season, you could still see this team developing into something serious. But my God, this year, this team is nice, man. This team is very good at basketball. They're very fun to watch play basketball as well. What I will say is, again, this team is very similar to the Pistons. If their shot isn't falling, you better hope that Wemby's just abusing the paint. And last night, the Pistons, I think it's time I talk about the Pistons. I think it's time. So please, guys, strap in. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. It's a much better viewing experience over here. The Twitch stream is where my community hangs out. It's time to talk about the Pistons last night. Again, I'm not going to overreact from one circumstance. You guys know I'm a Pistons fan, but I'm very unbiased when it comes to my team. In fact, I'm probably the biggest Pistons hater in America. Because of how often I watch them. You know, I've watched every second of every Pistons game this year. I watched every second of every Pistons game last year. I watched every game from the 28-game losing streak 2 years ago. I watched Greg Monroe, Austin Day, Jason Maxiell, Will Bynum, Andre Drummond, Josh Harrelson, Charlie Villanueva, Ben Gordon, Rodney Stuckey. That was all off the dome. I watched this team through thick. I watched this team through thin. And mostly, it's been thick. Most of my life, the Pistons have been a bad basketball team. Now, I'm not going to do what the TikTok chat is doing, saying Cade isn't him, Cade sucks, Cade's horrible at basketball. I'm not going to do that because I'm not an overreactive NBA fan. In fact, I am an NBA fan. I'd like to start off what I'm talking about the Pistons. I have a couple important takes that I wanted to say that I've been sort of preparing for a big loss like this in the NBA season, okay? I want everybody to listen to me as well. I've been preparing this for a loss against a good team, okay? When it comes to my Pistons, there's a couple things that I like sharing the most, all right? And there's two things that I'd like to share. One, it's about Cade Cunningham, because that's unfortunately the headline of everything right now. I'd like to talk about Cade. I've been watching Cade since his rookie year, okay? And something about Cade is when Cade is having a bad night, it doesn't stop him from shooting, okay? This is somebody who has watched Cade since his rookie year, not somebody that just started paying attention to Cade Cunningham this year. Cade, when he's having a bad night, he continues to shoot. He's been doing that since his rookie year. I don't know if he was doing that in Oklahoma, but he was doing that since his rookie year. When Cade is having a bad night, he just continues to launch it. Now, there could be a multitude of reasons because of that. He was playing with Sekou Doumbouya. He was playing with Miles Plumlee. He was playing with Killian Hayes. He was playing with Jaden Ivey. He was playing with Isaiah Livers. Like, he was playing with Nerlens Noel. Like, it makes sense why Cade, since his rookie year, was just emptying the clip, just shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and he wouldn't stop. Even if he's having a bad night, he wouldn't stop shooting. And, as the years have gone, obviously he was injured in his second year. Unfortunately, Cade Cunningham, I hate to say this. I'm not excusing his bad night. But what other option does Cade have? I'm being honest here. If Duncan Robinson is shooting 3 for 11 from 3, is he going to pass to him? If Tobias Harris is shooting 1 for 6, is he going to continue passing to him? If Ron Holland is 2 for his last 33s that he's taken, is he going to pass to him? If Dennis Jenkins, since he got paid on his contract, is 5 for 35, is he going to continue passing to him? If Karis LeVert is arguably the worst player I've ever seen play the sport of basketball, is he going to continue passing to him? I'm sorry, guys, but I say this as a basketball fan more than a Pistons fan. If you don't have options, then who is going to shoot these shots? I hate to say it, but if you don't have a second option, how far can you expect this basketball team to go? Now, I have another very important take, okay? And I hope you guys listen up. With this basketball team, with the Detroit Pistons, they were expected to be the 6th seed in the East this year. They were expected to be the 6th seed in the East, okay? They've obviously blown those expectations out of the water. I'm talking about Jalen Duren later. They've blown their expectation out of the water. They were expected to be the 6th seed in the East, okay? They're obviously the number 1 team in the East. They were just the number 1 team in the NBA. So now I have to talk about the plan for this basketball team, because it seems like people don't understand what's going on with this Detroit Pistons team. After the trade deadline, I was very upset that we traded Ivy just to get rid of his contract, and we got an expiring contract in Kevin Huerter. I was upset because I was like, I think we needed a second option. I think we needed a Dennis Schroeder that we got at the trade deadline last year. I think we needed that. And they didn't. So Trajan Landon, our GM for the Detroit Pistons, I actually met him and got a photo with him in Charlotte. He came out and said, we don't, the reporter asked Trajan, why didn't you guys go and swing for a Michael Porter Jr.? Why didn't you guys go get a Cam Thomas? Why didn't you guys go get one of these guys, right? And his answer was, Why are we talking championships when we haven't won a home playoff game in 18 years? Why are we talking championships if we haven't won a playoff series in 18 years? Now, there's nothing wrong with saying that to an extent. Let me speak on that topic that the Pistons GM said. Well, he's right. I haven't been talking about championship this year. You guys have never heard me say the Pistons are going to win it all this year, because that's never happened before in NBA history. I've never expected the Pistons to go from not winning a playoff series to all of a sudden winning a championship. That's never happened in NBA history if you without adding a team of superstars like the Boston Celtics with Paul Pierce. Sorry, they had Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Rajon Rondo. I never expected that. I didn't have expectations of winning it all, right? So it makes sense. Trajan didn't want to trade his future for a Band-Aid on a team that may or may not work. And I can understand to an extent. I understand the Pistons and the Spurs on the other side of the court are playing with house money this year, and that makes sense. Neither team was expected to make this sort of a leap. So now with the leap comes expectations from around the league. Now I have Knicks fans talking to me all stream long saying, Pistons suck, Knicks rule. Boston rules, Pistons suck. And it's like, okay, Knicks, you guys are favorites to win it all. You guys are favorites to come out of the East, just like last year. The Pistons were the 6th seed without Isaiah Stewart, without Jaden Ivey, mainly Isaiah Stewart. And the Knicks did what they were supposed to do, and they beat the Pistons. And the Pistons gave them a run for their money. Okay? The Knicks, at the start of the year, are favorite to win the Eastern Conference. I'm being told by TikTok, no, they aren't. Okay. Then who was the favorite? The Washington Wizards. I'm going to continue my point. I'm not going to acknowledge the TikTok chat. If you guys want to talk with me, be sure to come to the Twitch stream. It's the same name as the TikTok. The link is in my bio. So when your GM says that their goal is to win a playoff series for the first time in 8 years, or 18 years, you then begin to think, okay, maybe, yeah, he doesn't really want to win this year. He just wants to see where we're at and see like how far we can go with this team growing the way they are. Okay. And I understand that. I understand it to an extent. The unfortunate aspect is the Indiana Pacers are better next year. The Boston Celtics are better next year. Hell, the New York Knicks, if they lose this season, they might be better next year as well, because it's their final year of competing with this roster base. So when you look at the Charlotte Hornets are going to be better. There's a lot of teams that are going to be better. When you have to look at this team and you look at this roster, I'm sorry, but Cade Cunningham has to lead this team to an NBA title. That's not happening. The Pistons' goal right now is to win a playoff series. If they win a playoff series, then they want to win another playoff series. And if they win another playoff series, then maybe they want to win another playoff series. The issue is this team, yes, they're deep, but they have their flaws. And first and foremost, I have to start with the top of the totem pole with JB Bickerstaff. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. I have to acknowledge it. I'm sick of ignoring it. I haven't mentioned it much throughout this year, only a couple losses this year. I'm sick of this, and I have to talk about JB Bickerstaff. In the playoffs last year, I was talking about this with my Twitch stream before we started the TikTok stream, and before we started the show. JB Bickerstaff, he is obviously the head coach of the Pistons, okay? And with the New York Knicks series last year, after that Knicks series, I told everybody I am fully out on JB Bickerstaff as a head coach of this team. And I know people are going to call me crazy. And that's fine. You can call me crazy. But please, before you do, hear me out. At the start of that playoff series, the Pistons came out running. They came out running. In the fourth quarter of every game, the Detroit Pistons, out of, 5 out of the 6 games, the Detroit Pistons were leading the Knicks with 6 minutes left by 10 points in 5 out of the 6 games last year in the playoffs. Okay, I promise there's a reason why I'm bringing this back. With 6 minutes left of every single game against the New York Knicks in the playoffs, with 6 minutes left, the Pistons up 10. JB Bickerstaff would take Asar Thompson out of the game. Okay? What happened next? And I just rewatched this entire series, so it's fresh in my memory, and it pissed me off recently. All of a sudden, Jalen Brunson scores 12 points straight. Pistons are down by 2 with 2 minutes left. JB Bickerstaff brings Asar Thompson back in when it's 1:30 left, but it was too little too late. We lost our 10-point lead, and now we lose the game. Now, I hate that the highlight of that series was Jalen Brunson breaking Asar Thompson's ankles, because that's why people think that he wasn't playing well on him. And to be fair, he wasn't. But with what Asar Thompson does and what JB Bickerstaff does to him should be malpractice. There's only one player in the NBA that I could say is treated as poorly as Asar Thompson. It's Khalil Ware of the Miami Heat. I'm being told because Asar Thompson doesn't have any offense. See, that right there tells me you box score watch and don't understand basketball. That right there is all I need to know. The issue with the Pistons is not their lack of offense. It's the lack of shot creation, okay? So when you watch this team play, the big issue is that their half-court offense is as good as it can be with Cade Cunningham running the floor, obviously, and with a secondary ball handler in Asar Thompson that we've been training him to be. My issue with this team is that when you take Asar Thompson out, you are handicapping your team to an extent that we cannot do any longer. Guys, I've seen it time and 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 time again. When you take Asar Thompson out, not only does our defense suck, but our offense also sucks. He breaks the offensive side. He breaks everything. And what Asar Thompson brings, what he brings onto the court is unmatched. He lost us the Knicks series by taking Asar Thompson out. Why does Asar Thompson, I'm getting heated right now because I'm being genuine here. Why does Asar Thompson have the shortest leash on the Detroit Pistons team? Why? Why does Karis LeVert have the opportunity to throw 4 turnovers and miss shot after shot? I'm being told because Asar Thompson can't shoot free throws. Asar Thompson in his last 30 games is shooting 75% from the free throw line. Before you come to me with these egregious takes in the TikTok stream, know who you're talking to and know who knows ball. Know who knows ball. On 78 attempts, he is shooting 75%. Jacob, thank you for coming to the Twitch stream. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream so if you can talk to me. TikTok, unfortunately, does not have enough brain cells to talk basketball with me. We are talking about this year. Asar Thompson in his last 35 games is shooting 75% from free throw line. Now, I have to talk about Asar Thompson again. The Pistons lose this game because they took Asar Thompson out. I'm just saying that right now. I don't care that they didn't have Stu. I've already given the credit, and I gave all credit to the Spurs for winning last night. The Pistons lose this game for taking Asar Thompson out. Now, you're probably wondering, you're crazy. That's not the reason why they lost. Asar Thompson is the only player on this Detroit Pistons team that gets held accountable. He's the only player on the team that gets held accountable. He's the only player. The Pistons were down by 2 points when JB Bickerstaff took Asar Thompson out. They were down by 2 points when they took him out with 9.5 minutes left in the third quarter. I need you guys to hear me one more time. The Pistons were down 2 points with 9.5 minutes left in the third quarter. So the very start of the second half. And you would think like, oh, he's just going to sit him out for a couple minutes and bring him right back in. Asar Thompson proceeded to sit on the bench for the rest of the game. So I did some deep diving. Why did Asar Thompson sit out the entire second half? Why? Asar Thompson not only disrupts on defense, but he creates offense every time. So I hate hearing, oh, the offense, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't shoot. Doesn't matter. The value that he brings to this team does not matter. Well, I looked up why this happened, and let me explain. Let me explain, guys. Basically, Asar Thompson missed a switch on a pick and roll with Cade Cunningham. He missed a switch on Cade Cunningham, and they got an easy mid-range shot. Well, JB Bickerstaff, it called a timeout immediately. There's 9 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. 9 minutes in the third quarter. My apologies. 9 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third quarter. And Asar made one defensive error. All game. One. I'm being told shooting 19% from three isn't going to win anyone games. Then why are the Pistons the number one team in the East? Brady Wagner and everybody else in the TikTok. If you guys want to talk real basketball, come to the Twitch stream. Jacob just came to the Twitch. He said, "You're welcome. I had to pull through. The TikTok chat was driving me crazy." Welcome to the Twitch stream, Jacob. Welcome to people who actually know basketball. Pissify, thank you for the follow on Twitch as well. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for the follow. I'm being told because they play shit teams in the East. Why do the Pistons have the best record against teams above 500? Better than the Spurs, better than the Thunder. Why do they have the best record against teams above 500? Why do the Pistons have the best winning percentage against teams in the Western Conference? Why? Stop talking basketball if you don't know basketball. Asar Thompson missed his one switch. One. JB Bickerstaff calls a timeout, immediately starts screaming at Asar Thompson, cussing at him, screaming, and pointed at the bench. Look at the look that your head coach is giving your best defensive player in the NBA, best perimeter defender in the NBA. Look at the look that he's giving him for missing one switch. He then proceeded to sit Asar Thompson out for the rest of the game. I'm sorry. This is not going to win you games. This is not going to win you playoff series. This is not going to win basketball games. I have seen it time and time again. I've been watching Pistons basketball for the last 25 years. Since before I even knew what the objective of basketball was, I've been watching this Pistons team. I have never seen a coach hold one player accountable the way he holds Asar accountable. He missed one switch. So then guess what happens? The Pistons were down by 2 when this happened. The Spurs ended up going up by 15. And you know what I had to watch? I said it before I started the TikTok stream of the podcast. If I were being tortured, if I got captured by the mob and they were ripping my fingernails off, plucking my eyebrows, ripping my arms off, I don't think any of that would be strong enough torture to make me talk or lose my mind. I think if you plopped me in front of a TV and forced me to watch Karis LeVert play basketball, I think that would break me. That would break me. Because last night, I had to watch Karis LeVert play basketball for 20 straight minutes in the second half. Karis LeVert, 21 minutes. Karis LeVert played more than Asar Thompson, the best perimeter defender in the NBA. I have no words. I've seen JB do this time and time again. I had to watch Karis LeVert throw 4 turnovers. Why is his leash so much longer than Asar Thompson? Is Karis LeVert sleeping with JB Bickerstaff's wife? What is going on here? I can't keep watching this. Pissify and Where's My Comp? Thank you guys for the follows on Twitch. I appreciate you very much. Comp said he came into the Twitch stream and said not to be like a JB hater or anything, but he did that in Cleveland. Look how he acted towards Mobley or even Port. Yeah, I understand. So when I said JB Bickerstaff is one of the coaches that can raise the floor of the team, I meant it when I said that. Now, that wasn't the only Pistons fault. And now I know people are also telling me, I know people are going to say the same thing. Duncan Robinson wasn't playing defense. Asar Thompson can't even guard Devin Vassell. That's not the point here, guys. I think the main thing, and it's pretty simple. 1, play Asar Thompson. Play him. Play Asar Thompson. What the fuck are you doing? He is up for extension this summer. Play Asar Thompson. I'd like to point something out. I know a lot of people were telling me, what if Wembanyama starts guarding Asar the way that they guarded Amen? If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, Wembanyama stays in the paint and Amen Thompson is at the three-point line, so they're not guarding him. Well, they did that against Asar last night. And you know what happened? Asar Thompson scored 8 points in a row. In the second quarter. And then he doesn't play in the second half. And I'm being told by casuals, Asar's not good. You do not know basketball. You stat watch. Do not talk basketball with me if you don't watch it. Asar Thompson is the best perimeter defender in the entire NBA. and our coach sat him out. Asar Thompson may not be able to shoot, but he does everything else such at a high level. Okay. Now I have another point. They asked JB Bickerstaff after the game, why did you take Asar out? Why did Asar Thompson not play in the second half? And he said, I just thought Ron was playing well, so I decided to play Ron. I have a question, JB Bickerstaff. Why don't you play them both? Because when Asar Thompson and Ron Holland are on the court at the same time, oh, Jay-Z, no three-point shooting, no offense, then how come in 200 minutes of on-the-court time, a lineup with Asar Thompson and Ron Holland is beating teams by 18.5 points? When Asar's on the court, Pistons are winning by 9 points. When Ron's on the court, Pistons are winning by 7 points. When they're both off, Pistons are arguably the worst split. But when they're both on the court, you are winning by 18.5 points. I got to repeat myself. When Asar and Ron are on the court at the same time, they have a nickname together, 9 to 5, because they're going to make the teams work for it. That's their slogan. That's their line. Asar's number 9, Ron Holland's number 5. They play 9 to 5. They win by 18.5 points, and they allow 22 less points scored than any other lineup for the Detroit Pistons. They allow 22 points less scored. So why not play them both? If I were the JB Bickerstaff, first and foremost, obviously I would play Asar Thompson more than Karis LeVert. There's no reason Karis LeVert and Javonte Green get arguably more minutes than Asar Thompson or almost the same minutes as Asar Thompson, okay? On top of that, I think the Pistons overall on defense, they were reacting to Wembanyama way too much. They were reacting way too much. And that's why Wemby didn't have a good game, but that's why Devin Vassell and Julian Champagnie were lights out from 3. I already gave the Spurs enough credit. I talked about them for about 20 minutes, so shout out the Spurs again. But I think in the next game, the Pistons play the Spurs in a week. The Pistons play the Spurs in a week, and they'll have Isaiah Stewart back, which is awesome. But again, the way that they need to play against this team is don't react so heavily to Wembanyama. Don't react that heavily. You were giving wide open 3 after wide open 3 after wide open 3. Don't react that heavily. Don't. Stop giving up open 3s. And then that game over probably would have went better. Wemby did not have a good offensive game. Wemby had 8 free throws. He did not have a good offensive game. I've talked about Cade. I've talked about him. He was in jail. He couldn't get to the paint. Wemby was dominant. Castle was dominant. When you beat Castle and then you got to run into a 7'5" alien, what's going to happen? And lastly, I got to talk about Jalen Duren. I predicted it. I don't know why JB Bickerstaff does what he does. People saw that Jalen Duren scored 12 points straight for the Pistons in the fourth quarter. 12 points straight, okay? I'm almost done, I promise. He scored 12 points straight for the Pistons, all on Wemby. Jalen Duren finished with 25 points, 14 rebounds, 10 for 13 from the field in only 29 minutes. 29 minutes for our second All-Star. And he scored 12 points straight on Victor Wembanyama in the fourth quarter, just absolutely bodying him in the paint. Jalen Duren, you did your thing, and I knew you would. In fact, you played really well on defense, which impressed me. But what I will say is JB Bickerstaff, in the very first play of the game, Jalen Duren bodied Victor Wembanyama. And then you never went to Duren again for the rest of the half until the fourth quarter. He showed you that he can body Wemby. And then you didn't go to it until the end of the game. And then guess what? The Pistons are down by 10 points with 7 minutes left in the game. And what does JB Bickerstaff do? He takes Duren out after Duren scored 12 points straight. And then I am forced to watch Karis LeVert, Javonte Green, Dennis Jenkins, and Paul Reed finish the last 5 minutes of this game. And you don't bring back Duren and Cade until 2 minutes left in the game. This is malpractice. I've talked about this time and time again. These rotations, these lineups, you have to adjust. Now, again, I'm not going to overreact from a game. This happens all season long. But JB Bickerstaff, I've been out on you since the playoffs last year, and I'm still out on you. You continue to prove to me that you have favorites on the roster. Asar Thompson's not your favorite, clearly, but he's winning you games. He is the deciding X factor of all of these games. Instead, you play Karis LeVert. So next game, they play next week. They'll have Isaiah Stewart. I'm very excited for it. I hope they don't react as heavily to Wembanyama. And the Spurs are great. I gave the Spurs so much credit, and now I had to tear down my Pistons a little bit. As far as the other games last night, ladies and gents, first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to some of the people that left the TikTok stream and came to the Twitch stream. Big shout outs to these guys. Jacob, Pissify, Comp, and Life Over Death. Thank you guys so much for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you guys. Be sure to join our Discord as well. And again, TikTok chat, if you guys do enjoy the stream, you would enjoy the Twitch stream so much more. We'd love to have y'all join us. The link is in my bio. If you don't want to click a link, be sure to just go to the purple app, Twitch, and look up Jay-Z Uncut. It's the same name as my TikTok. I'd love to see you guys come through and hang out with us. Real quick, the other games last night, there's really nothing else to talk about, to be honest. Except for Vince Williams got injured, and he tore his ACL. I feel bad for him. Tari Eason accidentally bumped into him, and Vince Williams tore his ACL. That's very sad. Nurkic is out for the rest of the season. I think he got a nose job or something. I saw the alert go, and I was like, wait, Yusuf Nurkic out for the season, nose. And then I click, I'm like, hold on, what? Huh? Apparently he's had trouble breathing. My mom said that she had trouble breathing. My 12 cousins who got nose jobs said that they had trouble breathing. Most of my community in Metro Detroit had trouble breathing, but really they're all Arabs with big noses, so they got nose jabs. So whether or not that's true, they're inventing things to tank, whatever, man. Nurkic is out. Vince Williams, I feel bad for him. He got his ACL torn by Tari Eason. That's very scary. That's career altering. That's career ending. Prayers out to Vince Williams. Alec, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it very, very much. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you, Alec. It's a much better experience over here. Be sure to join our Discord as well. Exclamation point Discord in the chat. Rockets did their thing, man. Larry Markkinen had 29 points for the Jazz, but the Rockets did their thing. 20 for Amen, 18 for Durant. Jabari Smith Jr. has been playing incredible after the KD files got leaked. Şengün, probably his best game in a long time. 16 points on a pretty efficient night. Reed Shepherd off the bench, 15 points. Great game, man. And then as far as the Sacramento Kings go, they ended their losing streak. Woo! The Chicago Bulls now have the longest losing streak in the NBA. I'd like to give a special shout out to my GOAT, Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes did something in this game, man. Can I just show y'all the shot chart? I don't think you guys are going to, like, I just got to show y'all these stats, bro. I got to show it to you. Killian Hayes had 0 points. In case you guys don't know, Killian Hayes, former Pistons legend, he got signed to a 10-day contract to the Sacramento Kings. Killian Hayes, 0 points, 0 rebounds, 4 assists. He played 11 minutes, got 0 points, 0 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks. He shot 0 for 4, 0 for 4 from three-point land. He didn't shoot any free throws. He didn't have any turnovers. He committed 5 personal fouls in 11 minutes. I got to repeat myself. Killian Hayes, 5 personal fouls in 11 minutes. But, ladies and gents, most important stat on this figure, +5 on the court. Shout out to Killian Hayes for helping this team get the win. Shout out Killian Hayes. He's a +5 on the season. +5 on the season. Shout out Killian Hayes. Yeah, man, the Kings won. Kings won against tanking Grizzlies team. I mean, they're tanking themselves, but shout out Killian Hayes, man. Shout out Killian Hayes, my tank commander. All right, guys, let's move on to our final segment. This one's going to be really fun. And this is going to be a group activity, so I need everybody's help. Whether you're in the Twitch stream, the YouTube stream, or the Twitch, did I say Twitch already? TikTok, whatever. Whether you guys are in any of those streams, I need your guys' help, okay? We're going to be playing a new segment on this show that we're calling Would You Rather, okay? Would you rather? I'm going to give you 2 topics, and I need to know whether or not which option you would take, okay? Some of them are relevant to today's episode. Some of them aren't. I got 4 of them, all right? Again, YouTube, TikTok. Now's the perfect time to do what my homie Noose Super just did, and my boy Alec. Come to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. It's a much better experience over here, guys. It's my community. ball knowing community. It's not like TikTok basketball community. It's not like the Twitter basketball community. Mine's a real community that hangs out, vibes, watches games together, and just knows basketball. So I'd love to see you guys come through to the Twitch stream, okay? The link is in my bio, TikTok and YouTube, or just look up Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Let's get started, y'all. Would you rather? Okay? Now help me out here. I need your guys' help here. Would you rather have your star empty the clip? If you guys don't know what empty the clip is, just shoot a shit ton, no matter if it's going in or not. Or would you rather have your star be scared to shoot? Again, would you rather have your star empty the clip or have your star scared to shoot? For me, I'd rather my star empty the clip. I'd rather see them take every single shot if they need to. If you are the sole star on your team, I want you to empty your clip. You're the star of the team. You have the right to do so. So when I see Luka have an inefficient night, but nobody else is shooting, when I see Shea have a bad night, I don't see anybody else doing it. When I saw Michael Jordan, I never got to see Michael Jordan live, but the stats say he did. When I see Michael Jordan go 9 for 34, I don't care. You're Michael Jordan. Keep shooting that shit. When I see Cade Cunningham go 5 for 26 and get locked down by Stephon Castle and Bam Adebayo. What the fuck? I read Bam in the chat. And Victor Wembanyama. Nobody else is going to shoot. Empty the clip. If you're our star, we got a better chance of you hitting them. I love the responses. I see the only person that said, don't empty the clip is Newsom, who's a Heat fan. He said, my star is Bam Adebayo. I don't want him emptying the clip. Yeah. So I'm glad we all agree. Even my Pelicans fan, he said if Trey Murphy took 30 shots and missed like 20 of them, I'm okay with it. Thank you. Why? I'm wide open. I'm going to let it fly, right? Like, why not? Why not? I'm glad that we all agree. I think it's a pretty obvious take. So when I see somebody have a bad field goal percentage or something, like the context matters. Listen, man, I'm going to see this stat sheet from Cade Cunningham for a long, long time. I'm going to, because people just box score watch. People just box score hunt. People love tearing other people down. I'm going to see this Cade stat line for a long time. And that's okay, as long as I know that Cade doesn't have help. Cade doesn't have another person that wants to empty the clip. Cade doesn't have another reliable scorer. So Cade's got to. Hell nah, Ja Morant don't need to empty the clip. My one Grizzlies fan coming in and saying I wouldn't want him to empty the clip. I respect that. So yeah, that's what happens, man. That's what happens. Okay, I'm happy everybody agrees. Again, YouTube, TikTok chat. Now is the perfect time to be coming through to the Twitch stream. We would love to have you guys over here, y'all. If not, just wait until the episode is over and come through to the Twitch stream. Okay, guys, I have a next Would You Rather. Guys, I need your help. Would you rather bring back hand checking or keep it no hand checking? In case you guys don't know, hand checking became illegal in the early 2000s after the Malice at the Palace. People talk about aggressiveness and aggression and you know, thug basketball. That's what the headlines were. Would you guys rather no hand checking or bring back hand checking? And this answer is going to bring me to my next topic. TikTok is all saying no hand checking. Twitch so far says no hand checking. Guys, what would you rather have? Hand checking or no hand checking? I need some more, guys. People are saying bring it back. Offense is too easy now. It's so funny because all my old heads, no offense, are saying bring back hand checking. All my young folk are saying no hand checking. Understandable. Yeah, I mean it's definitely, yeah, bring back the elbow. See, like all my old heads want, hey bro, I'm turning 28 next month, bro. I'm an old head. It would just lead to more flops anyway. I'd say bring it back. Life over death. I respect it. Be sure to join the Discord as well, bro. If you guys join the Twitch stream today, be sure to join the Discord. That's where the real community's at. I mean, the real community isn't at the Twitch stream, but be sure to join the Discord as well if you're here. Okay, so the majority says bring back hand checking. Now, I have an important thing that I didn't say earlier because I was saving it for this topic, okay? Please, guys, listen up, okay? This is sort of going to be a vent, okay? This is going to be me venting for a second. I'm sad, guys. I'm sad. Now, before you guys call me emotional, I know I am. And it's okay for a man to be intact with his emotions, okay? So I'm an emotional guy. And it's not like I'm emotional when it comes to body pain or emotional pain, but I am intact with my emotions. And most of that comes from watching my Detroit Pistons. My mental state is so connected to this team, it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. And when we didn't have expectations, it was okay to lose because we didn't have any expectations. Now that we have expectations, I've noticed something interesting, okay? And I hope you guys listen to me, all right? So please hear me out. Why is it that every young team that's growing gets praised, except my Pistons? When the Thunder were on the rise, everybody was gassing them up. It's different from being on the top and everybody hates you. The Thunder won the championship and now everybody hates you. But when the Thunder were on the rise, everybody loved them. When the Warriors were on the rise, everybody loved them. When the Celtics were on their rise, everybody loved them. How come my team is hated? How come my team, the first time they've been relevant in 18 years, why are we hated? We haven't won anything. It's sad. And I'm telling you guys this as a Pistons fan. They're hated. And now I have another question that feeds off of that, right? I'm being told by TikTok, stop whining. Okay. I said I was going to be in tune with my emotions here. I have another take that feeds off of that. Okay. Everybody says the NBA is too soft. That's the overall consensus. Everybody. If you go talk to somebody at the bar, they all say, the NBA's soft. I don't watch that shit. The NBA's soft. The NBA's boring because everything's a foul. Well, the Pistons play defense. And when it was against Wembanyama, we were called brutal, aggressive. But when we were manhandling Luka, it was called Luka was flopping. I thought people want defense back. I thought people respect defense. But now we're brutal, we're dirty, we're junkyard dogs. I don't understand it. Everybody says the NBA is soft, and now my team comes back and we're proving that we're not soft, and now we're getting called dirty. It's sad, man. It's sad. Like, you know, when I was a kid, sorry I'm getting off topic, but I saved it for this Would You Rather. When I was in middle school and I was telling everybody that Rodney Stuckey, Will Bynum, Jason Maxiel, Greg the Moose Monroe, when I was telling everybody that this team's next up, you know, everybody was telling me, no, they're not. And well, they were right. They weren't. And I understand it's Detroit versus everybody, but it's like every team in their rise gets praised, except my Pistons. Everybody hates them. Everybody. They haven't won anything, but everybody hates them. And I wish that we would be praised. I wish that people could say, look at them Pistons, man. They're fun. They're not a bunch of thugs. I don't know which it is. Do people want defense? I thought that's what we wanted. Do people want defense? People say that we don't get called for fouls. The Pistons commit the most fouls in the entire NBA. I thought people wanted defense. The Pistons are bringing defense. I thought people are tired of the teams jacking up 1,000 threes. The Pistons don't jack up 1,000 threes. That's my end of the point. I hope that marinates with y'all. I hope that sits with you guys. I hope you guys think about it a little bit longer next time you hear somebody discrediting the Pistons. Guys, would you rather? Would you rather? This one's big, okay? Would you rather have your team be the number one offensive rated team or the number one defensive team? Again, this feeds off of the last question. Would you rather now I'm assuming if you pick one or the other, you're going to be a middle of the pack of the opposite. So you'll be number one defense, but 15th in offense. You'll be number one defense, Or sorry, you'll be number 1 offense, but 15th in defense. So what would you guys rather be, the number 1 offense or the number 1 defense? My baby Austin, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you a lot, brother. Thank you. They don't want to talk about the Pistons when they're number 1. They do, but it's not positive. Offense, bro. I hate watching the Rockets. Big D, defense. Offense, you can get stops when they matter the most. Hornets are top. No, they're not. If they were, they wouldn't be the 19th team in the NBA. Could it be because the Lions, everyone loved them 2 years? Dude, it's because everybody hates fucking Detroit, bro. Everybody, sorry, excuse my language. Number 1 defensive, because when the playoffs come, you know what time it is? I am. Austin, oh my God, Austin, hold on. Stick around after the show. Stick around after the show. Okay, I'm glad you guys agree. Most people agree. Number one defense, average offense. I'm glad you guys agree. I'm glad you guys agree. Number 1 defense. Number 1 defense is obviously the guaranteed pick. Mind you, the Pistons have the number 1 defense since December 20th. All right, guys, this is my final one. Now, this one isn't basketball related. I thought, let me get a little wild with this one, okay? This one's not basketball rated, but it still fits the mold, okay? Just let me know what you guys think. Would you rather know how you die or know when you die? Would you rather know how you die or when you die? Okay? I'm curious. Now, me, I think I'd rather know when. Now, I know that's kind of sinister, but like, at least if I know that I'm dying in 7 years, I'm quitting everything and I'm just going to go travel the world and spend my money and have fun. Right? If I know how I die, like if they say if I get into a car accident, I'm never going to want to drive, right? But if I know when I'm getting in a car accident, you know what I'm saying? So I think I'd rather know when I die. I think most people agree when. Unless you die of like old age, right? Then it just fucking sucks. Then it's like I'm 77 and I'm just sitting there waiting, you know? All right, guys, that's going to be all for Would You Rather, all right? That's going to be Would You Rather, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Twitch chat, be sure to stick around. YouTube chat, TikTok chat. If you guys enjoyed the stream, you would enjoy the Twitch stream so much more. We're going to be ending the TikTok and YouTube. I see there's a lot of you guys in the YouTube and there's some of you guys in the TikTok. So if you guys did enjoy today's show, we are still live on Twitch. Not that long today because I got a meeting with my CPA, my tax guy. But we got some NBA basketball tonight. I'm pretty excited for it all. I hope you guys are as well. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Yes, Apple listeners, Spotify listeners, I'm talking to y'all. Leave some reviews. I appreciate y'all very, very much. I said today would be a shorter episode, and yet I somehow talked about 40 minutes on one matchup, which is insane. Shout out me. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, I forgot to do stud of the night. Real quick, stud of the night. It's none other than Devin Vassell. 28 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 block, 10 for 14 from the field, and he hit as many threes as the Pistons did as an entire team. Honorable mention, Victor Wembanyama and Bryce Sensabaugh off the bench for the Utah Jazz. He killed it. I got nothing left to say. Have a blessed day, everybody, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. We're still live on Twitch, y'all. Tune in, be there, or be a loser. Love y'all.